Welcome to DRL Drone Racing League Level 1 Miami. The best drone pilots in the world have come together here at Sun Life Stadium, home of the Miami Dolphins, to face off against one another and a race course built for speed.
Level 1 Miami is huge. It's on a grand scale. It's unlike anything anybody's ever flown before. We're flying around the bleachers, through the concourse, up this helical staircase. That's never been done before.
Pretty much came into this event ready for anything. My expectations were not let down.
We are clearing the area. Initiating FPV check.
All right, pilots, goggles.
How's the video? Ready to rock.
Arm up.
Arm check.
I'm here to fly as far as I can go.
10 seconds, pilot.
It's about to get crazy.
This is the first heat of the first race of the 2016 DRL season. I'm Craig Hummer alongside Ryan Gurry, and we are in the qualifying round. 12 pilots battle across 3 races for the most points. The top 8 pilots move to the semifinals, and only 4 go on to the finals. There are 3 heats per race, and the first one is about to begin. 4 pilots, 4 drones. And Ryan, as you know, the start can be critical.
Absolutely. A drone race can be lost at the very start. They need to accelerate rapidly while still controlling their elevation.
Bapu in red in first, followed by Moke in orange, FPV Provo in white.
Provo is looking smooth, and when you're smooth, you're fast.
Fast indeed, he just passed Moke to move into second. One more gate inside the bowl before a complex turn into the first tunnel.
Lining up for this is tricky.
Oh, Moke just pulled off the pass, a tighter turn, moving into the lead, pushing Bapu into second.
In these tight spaces, you have to make turns with steady control for the cleanest possible line.
Moke continues to stay very clean. Oh, but Bapu miscalculates the turn, and that allows Provo to dive into second.
I am really impressed with Moke. Full speed for the most difficult parts of the course. He is taking risks, and they are paying off.
Provo has his work cut out for him in this dogfight as they enter the bowl for the final time. He is running out of real estate and options.
If he wants to catch up, he better lay on that throttle. Keep things smooth, get that speed.
Provo flying too low, overcorrects, and that's going to cost him. This looks like it's now Moke's race.
That's a common mistake that Provo made. Gotta keep your stick smooth.
Moke through the last gate, stretch run to the finish. Whoa, somehow Provo has found an extra gear, but runs out of real estate. Moke takes the win. Provo comes up 0.2 of a second short. Let's look back at the finish.
Provo hits that final turn perfectly. Gained a ton of speed over Moke.
And at 80 miles an hour, that's what 0.2 of a second looks like.
I had Provo right behind me, and it's 0.1 of a second between us. It's just about going as fast as you can, and you have to ignore everybody else.
The vertical drop ended up being ever so costly for Bapu.
Bapu did miss that turn, but he took the time to reset himself to enter the tunnel safely.
These quads are so finely tuned and so agile. Every millimeter of a movement of the fingers is shown in the quad. So being able to manage that is even more a factor than all the practice you put, on your weekends and your time off and stuff, because there's no pressure when you practice by yourself.
The official results from the first heat. Moke gets the win, 91.5 seconds. FPV Provo finishes 0.2 of a second and 2 points behind. Rafa gets only 100 points as he didn't finish under the 2-minute time cap.
The most challenging part was probably when you came out of the helical and you have to make a really funky turn into another tight tunnel. And I know at least one of those times it was full of smoke, and I ended up going through thinking I was fine, and the smoke parted and I saw nothing but wall.
There are 12 pilots in the qualifying rounds, but only 8 move on to the semifinal. After the completion of all 3 heats in our first qualifier, FPV Provo has moved ahead of Moke with 603 points. Next, the remaining pilots fight for a spot in the top 8.
What motivates me as a pilot is pure competition. I want to be the best at it.
As soon as you start getting beat by other pilots, it pushes you to start sharpening up your skills, getting faster.
Anything I ever do, I always try to do my best. And hopefully the best is good enough to be the best.
This is the first heat of the second qualifier, a chance for these 4 pilots to make it to the semifinal. A great start by Rec in purple, closely followed by Ferrati, one of the pre-race favorites.
Ferrati's a leader in the FPV community, inspiring to many, known for his technical knowledge and clean flying style.
Through the second gate, oh boy, crash by Ferrati, unexpected to say the least.
Very unlike him.
As we take another look, it seemed everything was fine. How do you explain his drifting?
He just came in too high. Could be concerned about the drone in front of him and not the gate.
This is what it looked like to Hazek. Bam! That is the way you end your heat. Ferrati is out, but there is still a race going on, specifically between Rec, the purple, and Hazek, the blue. This has become mano a mano, quite the duel.
Yeah, this is a dogfight. It's incredibly tough to stay this focused. Keep your eyes on the line and not on your competition. It takes a lot of concentration.
Into the first bomb, Rec and purple in the lead, being pursued and pressured by Hazek.
These two are hitting incredible speeds through this back haul.
Hazek uses his speed to move into first, but then Rec with an amazing maneuver to retake the lead.
You're looking here at 2 different styles. Rec is skilled, smooth, and a little conservative, where Hazek is really aggressive and almost a little reckless.
As they exit that bomb, that is the second checkpoint, which means another 50 points for each pilot as they try to reserve a spot in the final 8.
These two are really on top of each other, pushing each other to their limits and maybe a little beyond.
Beyond is right. Hazek's aggression finally comes back to bite him.
Hazek takes an early apex, overcutting the line to the gate, and gets punished as he overcorrects. That's a nosedive.
Rec alone on the course, but he is not going to let up. You get bonus points for every second you're under the time cap.
So close, bro. So just diving into that gate, just getting towards that end there, and I'm like, okay, I know 2 are down, and then it's like, you came real tight on that corner, you got just ahead of me. I knew you were on my tail, and then when you got ahead, I was like, oh, he's got it. Just as he got in front, so I dove to the bottom corner and
Right into the
crashed
chairs.
down.
Yeah.
And then I just knew I had to finish.
Right.
Took it easy.
All the points.
Yeah. He's getting a little too cocky. Needs to be brought down a notch.
What do you think about the level of competition that you just faced?
You know, all the pilots here are really fast, and I don't think for a second that it's going to be easy, obviously. I've got my work cut out for me for sure.
Ferrati clearly disappointed in his first heat performance. The other pilot, Spastic, ended his first run when he couldn't align with the first tunnel. That was also the first checkpoint, and had he made it through, it would have been worth 50 points. So as we take a look at the results, 2 men scored. The best, Rec with the win, and the only man to finish, 457 points. Hazek with 100.
I'd really like to finish top qualifier though, that'd be awesome. I think there's going to be some pretty good pilots coming up in the 3rd race, so I'm looking forward to seeing if they can beat my score.
After 2 more heats, the second qualifier is complete. And 3 pilots, Rec, Ferrati, and Hazek, have all moved ahead of FPV Provo, the top pilot from the first qualifier. Next, the last 4 pilots get their shot.
Flying Bear, you have an interesting strategy. You are standing up, using your controller.
Yeah, I've always been a person that has to stand when they fly. I like to move around. And if I sit down, I feel too constricted and my body can't move with the motions I'm trying to make.
Commencing arm check.
Do you think that that's an advantage or disadvantage going last as opposed to first out here?
I think it's both. Going 3rd is good because you know where you have to be to advance, but it's also, I don't know. I'm a little fired up right now.
3rd and final heat of the last qualifier. 4 pilots left to fight for a place in the semi. Zumas in red, he's got enough points. He knows he is already in. Flying Bear in purple, he needs 100 points and he can clinch that semifinal spot by crossing the second checkpoint. Ooh, little A crashes. She is out with 9 already hitting the lip at the start. Just like that, we are down to 2.
Zumas, one of the most dominant pilots we've seen today, handling the course with power and skill. Flying Bear is going to be lucky to keep him in his sights.
Don't coronate the king just yet. Flying Bear clawing his way into contention. He even makes the pass. Zumas with a great job right there to regain the lead.
Both these pilots working hard on every corner. This is a lot of blows back and forth.
Tightest heat we have seen all day, approaching the second checkpoint. Oh, and that's it for Flying Bear, misjudging the exit of the bomb. Flying Bear's disappointment clearly evident. This has become, in essence, a victory lap for Zumas.
And this is one of the dilemmas you have as an MVP pilot. How hard do you push? If he stayed back, he would have clinched, but he got caught up and he started to battle, and they may have lost it all.
Meanwhile, mission accomplished for Zumas.
Oh, yes, relief, relief. Oh, man.
You and I were neck and neck in the field.
I know, I was like, please, Ken, don't hit me.
No, I saw how close you were, and I was like, oh, I better back off.
You passed me, and I passed you, and then, oh.
What the? It's a tie.
5 feet more, he would have gotten the 50 points to get ahead of me. I got lucky. He got very unlucky.
If Flying Bear had just bounced past the red bulb on the ground, he would have earned 50 points and clinched a spot in the semifinal.
This is so painful from a pilot perspective to be this close and crash.
It's a tie right now for the 8th place. We've got 150 and 150. Bapu versus Flying Bear. So they're gonna have to get face off or something. Tiebreaker.
I was surprised because my performance was so poor. I never thought I would have a chance. And to think I'm tied for the 8th spot, I still have a chance of making it. But I don't know what the tiebreaker is going to be, so I'm anxious to see what they're going to do about it.
All right, guys. We didn't think this was going to happen. For the final place for 8th, we have a head-to-head battle. The fastest or the furthest. One drone. We have Flying Bear versus Bapu. We're going to get set up. Give us 5 minutes. Should we separate you two in 2 different rooms at this point? All right.
This is going to be a tough one.
At the end of the 3 qualifying races here in Miami, Rec retains the top spot with 971 points. Zumas ends up in 2nd with 763. But the big story is the tie for 8th between Bapu and Flying Bear, each with 150. That final spot in the semis will be determined by a single head-to-head tiebreaker.